Do you have trouble sleeping? Is insomnia keeping you up? Do you feel like you're not getting your 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night? Now you can finally do something about it with Decivia. With Decivia, you can finally get that sleep you have been looking for. Decivia can easily correct the problem and finally give you the rest that you deserve. Decivia is not for everyone. Side effects may include nausea, dry mouth, itching, having trouble breathing, diarrhea. Additional side effects may include gambling, nightmares, drowsiness, hallucinations, an urge to go hug people, the growth of an extra limb, thinking you are Batman, switching from Apple to Android, and vice versa. Other more severe side effects may include an urge to begin a YouTube channel, turning into a zombie, Minecraft division. For women, an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. For men, menstrual cramps and/or PMS, alien abductions, contracting every phobia known to man, breaking a rift in the space-time continuum, and even death. If you start believing that you are a Jedi Knight, please stop taking Decivia. If you happen to die, please contact your doctor immediately. People on planet Earth should not take Decivia, because we can get away with it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be taking Decivia anytime soon. But isn't that true, though? Right? I mean, whether it's a car commercial or a prescription pill commercial or a offer for a credit card, everything sounds so great at the beginning, and then there's all that fine print that nobody really catches because it's said so fast or it's written so small on the screen that you don't catch it. But everybody thinks it's fantastic. Oh, what a great idea. Porn purveyors are the same way. Porn producers are the same way. They're not going to tell you or your children what's dangerous about it. They're going to make it look like it's fun and it feels good and that there's nothing wrong with it. But the reality is it's harming your child's brain. It's harming the adult's brain. And that's the reality of it. That's the fine print. And we're going to take a look at that right now. So we've always heard about pornography addiction all the time. But what makes it so addictive? Let's take a look. So whether you're taking drugs or viewing pornography, the addiction process is the same. It produces chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and epinephrine, which overload the brain. The frontal lobes are the area of your brain responsible for making decisions and logically thinking through situations and scenarios. That's the part of your brain that's most affected by porn addiction. There's a rewiring that takes place. Your brain rewires itself to accommodate the extra flow of chemicals being produced by the pornography. Then you have a dependency. You build up a tolerance and a dependency to the chemicals. You go from wanting the pleasure chemicals in order to feel good to needing the pleasure chemicals in order to survive. And here's your brain. There's your brain on heroin. And there's your brain on porn. It's the same effect. It's as addictive as heroin. The science of porn. Science and research are proving that porn harms the brain, damages relationships, and is also linked to prostitution, sex trafficking, and child sexual abuse. Porn is a fantasy that is proven to make it harder for users to have real loving relationships. In real life, real love requires a real person. Research has found that after being exposed to porn, people were more critical of their partner's appearance and displays of affection. Research further has shown that after individuals are exposed to pornography, they rate themselves as less in love with their partner than those who didn't view porn. So frequent porn use is even associated with feeling cynical about love in general, having less trust in romantic partners, and feeling like relationships are confining. No wonder why we see so much adultery today. Bottom line is a porn habit can take a serious toll on a person's ability to offer real, unselfish, meaningful love. And with all this new information, it's time for society to accept that pornography is harmful. The science and research are proving that porn harms the brain, damages relationships, and negatively affects society as a whole. Let's take a look at a few ways. Porn changes the brain. So just like drugs and other addictive substances, porn floods the brain with chemicals like dopamine, Over time, the brain gets overwhelmed by the constant overload of chemicals and starts to build up a dependency to pornography. As a result, the porn they were looking at in the beginning doesn't seem as exciting, and then many porn users go hunting for more porn or more hardcore porn to get the same rush. Eventually, the chemical release from regular healthy activities aren't strong enough to register. Interesting. The chemical release from regular healthy activities aren't strong enough to register. This leaves the user feeling down or uneasy whenever they go for a while without watching porn. Sounds like just any other addiction will do the same thing. Starts out with a little and ends up with more and more. So porn addiction gets worse and worse. The brain releases chemicals when it sees something shocking or surprising. That's why frequent porn users often find themselves looking for more hardcore material. Also because they built up such a high tolerance to the porn they've been watching. Many have to combine sexual arousal with the feelings of aggression. And that's why so much of hardcore porn is full of violence against women. In a recent survey of 1,500 guys, 56% said their tastes in porn had become increasingly extreme or deviant. Frequent porn users' brains quickly get used to the porn they've already seen, so they have to move on to more extreme forms of porn to get aroused. Now imagine for a minute this kind of effect on a child's brain and how it impacts their development. So porn is addictive, just like a drug. We've seen that. Inside the human brain, there's something called the reward pathway. Its job is to reward you when you do something that feels good by releasing pleasure chemicals. The problem is, the reward pathway can be hijacked. The way that substances like cocaine and meth make users feel high is by forcing the reward pathway to release high levels of chemicals. Porn does the same exact thing. The surge of chemicals pulsing through the brain creates new brain pathways that will lead the porn user back to the behavior that triggers the chemical release. And the more the user watches porn, the deeper those pathways are wired into the brain. We see this a lot with learned behaviors as well. When a child is abused as a child, it releases those chemicals, and those chemicals impact that brain so strongly that it's very hard to rewire the brain back to normal. That's one of the negative effects of abuse of a child. So porn kills love. In real life, real love requires a real person. Right? Research has found that after men are exposed to pornography, they rate themselves as less in love with their partner than men who didn't see any porn. On top of that, another study found that after being exposed to pornographic images, people were more critical of their partner's appearance, sexual curiosity, sexual performance, and displays of affection. So ultimately, porn will ruin your sex life. See, porn promises a virtual world filled with endless sex, but what it doesn't mention is that the further a user goes into that fantasy world, the more likely the reality is to become just the opposite. In one of the biggest studies on porn use ever conducted, researchers found that after being exposed to softcore porn, both men and women were significantly less happy with their partner's looks, willingness to try new sex acts, and sexual performance. Porn users kill their ability to perform sexually in real life by conditioning their brain to get aroused by sitting alone in front of a computer or a tablet or a smartphone rather than being with an actual person. Now, studies have shown that if you break the habit and you stay away from this porn viewing for at least 3 months, that the brain will start to repair itself and try to get itself back to the normal levels of dopamine that it needs to reward you for great activities. It's very dangerous, and for kids, you have to imagine how destroying this is to the brain. It's unbelievable. And porn now is readily available for all the kids to see. And we want to take a look at how this is destroying them and just the frequency of kids viewing pornography. A shocking 90% of children ages 8 through 16 have viewed porn. And the largest consumers of pornography are 12 to 17-year-old boys. 12 to 17. Parents, you can stop this. You can stop at least 95% of it. These children are looking at porn on their game systems, on their smartphones, on their friends' smartphones, and their friends' game systems. You have to be nosy. You can put parental controls, you can use filters, blockers. There's a lot that you can do to prevent your children from seeing this and prevent it from destroying their brain. Parents, pornography harms your child's precious brain. The human brain is incredible. One of the great joys of parenting is watching a child make discoveries. Whether it's learning how to walk, recite the alphabet, or play an instrument, neural pathways are constantly developing in their brains. Because the brain develops from back to front, one of the last regions to develop is the prefrontal cortex. This is the region that's in charge of focusing attention, ADHD anybody? Anticipating and predicting the consequences for one's actions, impulse control, managing one's emotions, planning for the future, conditional thinking, which is I can't do A until B happens. Think of the prefrontal cortex as the brakes of the brain. Since your son or daughter's braking system doesn't fully develop until their mid-20s, it is bound to crash into things from time to time. It is estimated that 90% of children's ages 8 to 16 have seen online pornography. This translates into 30 million children in the United States alone. So here's 5 ways pornography impacts children and teens. Pornography harms a child's precious brain. We looked at that. It actually changes neural pathways. Pornography harms a child's view of sex. How it is on the screen is not how it is in real life. Pornography harms a child's view of people. Pixels lead to objectification. Porn diminishes our ability to see a real, unrepeatable person. Pornography harms a child's quality of life because pornography is a super normal stimulus. Kids can't stop watching. They lose sleep and time. And this one, pornography causes children to harm other children. When young kids see pornography, they practice pornography on other children. We are going to explore that one in a little more detail right now. Pornography causes children to harm other children. Peer-on-peer sexual contact and abuse are on the rise in children, in large part because of expanding access to pornography on smart devices in the home. And we would add their game systems. The correlation has everything to do with mirror neurons. Don't check out on me here. Mirror neurons are a type of brain cell that respond equally when we perform an action and when we witness someone else perform the same action. So when a child is exposed to pornographic content, there's a strong likelihood that he or she will mimic what they saw with friends or family members, usually younger siblings. These kinds of actions are above and beyond normal exploratory behavior among children. So some solitary ones are behaviors that cause emotional distress, anxiety, or physical pain, repeated penetration of vagina or anus with an object or a digit, behaviors that are persistent and child becomes angry if distracted, behaviors associated with conduct disorders or aggression, and a variety of sexual behaviors displayed frequently or on a daily basis. Some of these that are involving other persons. Sexual behaviors involving children 4 or more years apart in age. One child while coercing another in participating. We've seen studies on this, and this is very shocking. Young children coercing other young children into participating in sexual activity. Explicit imitation of sexual intercourse, oral genital contact, and here's the scary part. Asking an adult to perform a specific sexual act on the child. This is why child abusers, child predators will often show kids pornography. They're trying to get those chemicals released in their brain to get them addicted so that they will more likely do stuff with them. And the fact is, there are studies that have shown that young kids that have viewed pornography were willing to engage in the same behavior that they saw on the screen with older teenagers and even adults. Now, this is not the child's fault. I mean, this comes back to the child not being protected from seeing what they saw on their game system or on their smartphone or on their laptop or their tablet. This is where parents come in. This is where tech companies have some responsibility. This is where law enforcement comes in to prosecute those that would put this stuff out there and target children. ProtectYourChildren.org is the website. ProtectYourChildren.org. This is Chris with Protect Your Children Incorporated. We are a not-for-profit organization who is dedicated to protecting kids from sexual predators and kidnapping. We're attacking this pornography issue because this is becoming increasingly common among kids. And there are tools out there that you can use to protect your kids from this. Parental controls. On our website, we have a section for parental controls. You can put it on every device. It lays out step by step how to do that. Also, in-depth protection packet that's on our website. There's a lot of stuff in there to teach your kids about the dangers of being abused and the dangers of viewing pornography, along with a whole host of other great information that can teach your kids how to be safe from this stuff. So we thank you for watching this. We ask that you would like it, share it. If it's on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel for more good content like this. This is a huge problem. This is like the new drug. You've heard of it called pornography is the new drug. And the thing that's so dangerous about it is that a child can go into the bathroom and look at it on their phone. They can say they're taking a shower and they bring their phone in there with them, right? They can look at it in there. They can look at it in their rooms when you think they're just playing a video game. They can look at it with their friends, at their friends' houses. Parents, you really need to be involved. This is all over the place. And there's no stopping the access unless you put parental controls on those phones. Unless you put filters on their phones and their game systems. It's the only way to prevent this. Teach your kids how dangerous it is. Teach your kids what you saw in this video about what it does to their brain, how it develops addictions. And parents, if you see any of the signs that were discussed in this video, if you have an idea that your child might be viewing this, you got to check their phones. Check their browser history, check their phones, check their apps, check their messages on their social media apps. You really have to take the time to be involved in this and protect them from this. And the hope is, at least for adults, we know that after, say, 3 months of not viewing it, the brain starts to repair itself. The studies are still out about how long it takes a child's brain to repair itself. We would imagine it takes even longer because a child's brain is still developing and it learns to develop with those chemicals being produced by this addiction, by looking at this stuff. So if you want to protect your kids and help them to have a normal life and to make good decisions, you got to protect them from porn. Bottom line. And I encourage you to look at the studies that are out there about the connection between ADHD and pornography. The stats will blow your mind. There's a clear, definitive connection between kids that watch pornography and ADHD. So check that out as well. Again, visit our website, protectyourchildren.org, protectyourchildren.org. Tons of free resources. Everything is free. We are not for profit. We ask that if you can help us in this mission to get this information, to make more videos like this, please consider doing that. You can see on our website where you can help. You can donate, you can help spread the word, you can subscribe, like our pages, tell others, share posts, share videos. There's so much that you can do to help us continue on this mission to protect kids. We thank you for watching. Take care, and God bless.